This isn't going to be one of those, this is how you can make money while playing video game videos. This also isn't to brag about how I made money playing a video game, which is most people's dream. This is a story that was never even supposed to be told. I'm not some super popular RuneScape player. I don't even know any super popular RuneScape players. I was just a normal kid who got introduced into RuneScape by my brother, and I got addicted like most other people who play it. I know a lot of you don't play or even know about RuneScape, so I'm going to try my best to explain the chain of events and what eventually led to me making more than $200 a day off of this game. There's going to be a lot of information and people's names that I'm going to leave out of this video, as this did not occur overnight. It was a chain of events that occurred over the course of probably about 5 years. I'm not going to go over every method I used to make real money off this game. I just really want to talk about the one that was the most profitable, but in order to talk about that, I'm going to briefly talk about the methods I used to eventually get to the method that I made over $10,000 off of. So around 2012 in the game, there was this item called a bag of dice, which was a bag of dice, which had different types of styles you could choose to roll on, and it would randomly generate a number every time you clicked it. It was quickly used as a gambling method of which players would trade so-called hosts money and would play the game as they were advertised. A host was one who advertised this dice game in a clan that was full of people. These hosts were supposed to be trusted, as they usually had to pay to get their rank in said clan, and in order to take bets from people who joined the chat, they had a limit on how much money they could take depending on their rank, and if they were to scam people by not paying out their winnings, they were demoted and the client would be refunded. Well, that's how it was supposed to work. Most of the time, the bettor would not have any evidence of the scam, as they have to prove that they got scammed by recording their bets. So they would not get refunded, and the host wouldn't continue to take bets from other players. Anyways, this dice game was the gambling game that got me into the so-called dark side of RuneScape, as gambling was then allowed but looked down upon. RuneScape eventually took out the dice bag, forcing these hosts to look for other sources of income. This ranged from a random number generating seal they had in the game to a random color generating flower, and a random saying generating horse, which all were eventually taken out of the game. I made around 2 billion GP in the span of a few months, which equated to around $460 when I transferred it to real money. There are plenty of websites you can go to buy gold from different MMOs, such as Players Auctions, Food for RS, RS Walmart, and so on. I use these websites to trade my in-game earnings as a host for real life money. At the time, I was a kid, and to me, $400 was a lot of money. So I traded my gold coins. I stopped playing for some time. I would still watch my favorite RuneScape YouTubers to keep up with the pace of the game and see where it was headed. I eventually came back on at the same time one of my fellow hosters was on. We talked for a bit and thought about the good times we had together as hosts. This was around the time old school RuneScape was released, which was just an earlier version of RuneScape. My partner eventually sparked a conversation on going back to the old times and making money. I brought up the idea of making a swapping clan, which was a clan that was based on the same principle as a gambling clan, but to just swap GP between the old school RuneScape and the current game for a certain commission of the transfer. Now, I do not condone the actions that I'm about to tell you. In hindsight, I see them as evil, and I feel I would never do them again. But this is how it was when I was a kid. We had the idea of impostering the biggest swapping clan, which was named CoinSwap. They had the most amount of people in their clan, and they were the most trusted. We made a clan named CoinShop, and with the help of VPSs and VPNs, we used advertising bots in the same locations as CoinSwap used, but we just used more. We did drop parties to make the clan look big and quote-unquote trusted. We quickly started getting loads of trades, and instead of transferring over users' gold, we would just keep the money and kick them out of the chat. We thought this was genius. We were literally stealing users' hard-earned gold and transferring it for real-life money. We were making a killing of around 200 mil a day, which would equate to around $46, which we split evenly. We did this for some time, spawning other imposter clan chats that would do the same as us. But this wasn't enough. We got greedy and wanted more. We eventually found out about these gambling botting clans. Okay, so they would sit outside the Grand Exchange where the Grand Exchange is where people traded their items for gold and vice versa. These clans had a bot which functioned as a dice bag by when the host typed a command such as !roll or !dice, the bot would randomly generate a number 1 through 100, thus recreating the dicing clan chats. You see, I was mesmerized by this because I love being a gambling host, but we noticed something fishy about these clans. Sometimes when the host had a big bet, the bot would delay before he typed the outcome of the command, or when the other host tried to also make the bot have a command while the host had a large wager, the bot command wouldn't work. This was because the host was pausing the bot and sending out his own command to make sure that he won the wager, thus scamming the bettor. Now, if I haven't lost you yet, I'm finally getting into what this video is about. Seeing these gambling clans and knowing how much money they were making, we all wanted a piece of the pie. One of my partners found a script writer and got them to write essentially the same script, but with a little twist. So we didn't have to pause it. He made it so that when we typed the command, we decided the outcome of the roll by ourselves by putting spaces after the command, such as this. We used spaces after our commands, which decided whether the roll was a losing or winning roll, depending on what the bettor was betting on. So since we could control the rolls, we controlled the income. We would let people win so that they would come back or go and tell their friends, essentially making more money. Our clan became so big that we had people buying ranks in it, and they would host, but they couldn't read the command because only the names that we put into the bot to be able to do it could do it. So we essentially sold people ranks and then made new accounts to come and bet on them, the host that paid for ranks, and then we controlled the command of the bot, and we would end up cleaning out the host that bought ranks, making even more money. As more and more people came into the game, they wanted our script, which we sold to them without them knowing it was rigged, and then we would go to them and use the script to our advantage. We were taking everyone's money, making an average of around 200 mil old school coins each a day, which would equate to around $200. This was going on for a couple of months. Long enough for all of us who ran the clan to buy expensive stuff such as new computers, expensive headphones, clothes, and motorcycles. But this did not come at no cost. We spent nearly 10 to 16 hours a day sitting inside staring at a computer, which was horribly mentally draining, and I eventually got an email from Jagex, the creators of Runescape, saying this. It basically says that they have very strong evidence of what we were doing, and it is against the game rules, and if we continue to do it, they're ready to file a lawsuit against us, and all of our accounts will get banned. At the time that they sent out this email, all of our accounts actually did get banned. I'm guessing they IP banned us, even though we were using VPNs and VPSs. Even our mains got banned, our accounts that we stored a lot of our money on. We had mule accounts that got banned. This mass ban probably took away about 1 bill old school with the combination of all of us, which was equal to about $1,000. I actually saw Mod Archie log in and manually ban all of our advertisers. When this happened, it's easy to say that we were all scared crapless, and we definitely laid low for a while. I mean, we were 14, 15, 16-year-olds about to get sued by a billion-dollar company. It was pretty scary. It was pretty crazy because about a week before this happened, another competitive clan member leader came up to me and started talking to me, and he told me that he was the leader of this clan that we were competing against, and he just started talking to me. I was like, "Where'd your clan go? I haven't seen you for a little while." And he just basically told me, "Just wait and see. You'll get it too." And I was like, I didn't know what he was talking about, but then once I got this email, it was clear as day that he had also got the same email. So with the combination of this and disputes within the clan about money and splitting the cash evenly, we eventually broke apart and haven't been back to it since, or at least I haven't. It really opened my eyes to what actually can happen even in a game, an online video game, to you, how it can affect you in real life. And it definitely changed me for the better. So with all this being said, I'm not looking for forgiveness, or I wouldn't get forgiveness for any of this that I've done in the past. The past is the past. I'm a completely different person now. I just really wanted to let you guys know, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not there. Like how you couldn't see the space that we would put after the command, and it would look real, but it wasn't real. So you just got to be careful out there. Don't trust anybody, and just stay safe.